Dust and heavy machinery. Trucks pass by me constantly. Here in Ilissu, southeastern Turkey, what will be one of the country's largest dams is under construction. Where a bridge now spans the river Tigris, in 3 years' time, a 135-metre-high wall is to stand, turning the river into a 300-square-kilometre lake. The project is meant to cover only 3% of Turkey's electricity needs. Construction was interrupted last year when international credit guarantors pulled out of the controversial project. Now Turkey is continuing on its own. The government is determined to have the dam. I want to know what will happen to the people here and to the ancient cultural heritage sites, so I head upstream. I drive through the Tigris Valley, ancient Mesopotamia, known as the cradle of civilization. It's believed that here, some 11,000 years ago, humans changed from being hunter-gatherers to practicing animal husbandry and agriculture. It's hard to imagine that in a few years the road I'm on will be 20 to 30 meters underwater. After 2 hours driving over unpaved roads, I reach Hasankeyf. The building of the dam will mean this city and 80 others will be flooded. Even the children know about the cultural riches of this unique place. They point out historical bridges and palaces to me. This is the only completely preserved medieval city in Anatolia. It was the hub of the Silk Road, a Byzantine bishop see, and during the Artukid dynasty of the 12th century, it was the capital city, with a population of 80,000. Only a few supports remain of the bridge, considered to be the largest from the medieval period. UNESCO has deemed Hasankeyf to be one of the most important cultural heritage sites in the world. I climb up the nearly 600-year-old steps of the castle hill and meet a team of archaeologists from the nearby Batman University. Mevlut Eliushak tells me they found the remains of 20 different cultures here. He says that after the Romans, Islamic cultures like the Seljuks and Ottomans settled here, and remains of all those cultures can be seen. There's also evidence of the Hellenes and of classical antiquity. In this structure, you can see remnants from the Romans and Artukids, a Turkic people. The archaeologist knows that everything here could be flooded, but he's carrying on his work. He hopes that the dam will not be completed after all. Right now, archaeologists are simply securing what's there. Restoration will come later. He tells me that this was once a mosque. Large parts of the dome are still present. He points out a small hole they've drilled. And he shows me that the archaeological layers go 4 or 5 meters down. Researchers are uncovering some 300 archaeological sites, some more than 11,000 years old, and that's just the beginning. Mevlut Eliushak explains that this area is incredibly valuable for archaeologists in terms of cultural history. It's no question, he says, this is our history, the history of humankind. An archaeological jewel, but on the other side of the river, diggers are starting construction on the new Hasankeyf. Hasankeyf is one of the poorest regions of Turkey. Most of the city's young people have left, and only the older people remain. But no one here wants the dam, even if it will create jobs for a few years. This man tells me they don't want this city, with all its old structures, to be flooded. But they can't do anything about it. A few meters away is Mehmet Tarhan's restaurant. He says the city could be doing a lot better if it weren't for the hydroelectric dam project. Since its original inception in the 1950s, it's hung over the city like the sword of Damocles. No one will invest in a place doomed to be underwater. He says that although Hasankeyf is a tourist destination, there are few jobs and restaurants and retail are suffering. There's a constant back and forth, he explains. It'll be built tomorrow. No, today. No, tomorrow. Now they're saying that it will be built and Hasankeyf will disappear. It's fate, he says, if it goes on like this. Muhiddin Talayan from the Doya Dani Environmental Protection Group wants to prevent that from happening, for the sake of nature as well as the people here. He says the project would threaten the animals that live along the riverbanks near Hasankeyf. He's been collecting signatures on a petition against the dam. He has support from across Turkey. The man from Istanbul says that he thinks if citizens work together with civilian organizations, they can stop this decision, which the government has made along with companies and investors. He thinks they'll be successful. The following day, Muhiddin takes me to the river Tigris to show me what he's fighting to protect.
They haven't seen any people.
On the way there, he tells me about a new study by Ankara University that says 3 smaller dams could generate the same amount of power as the large one, and then the city of Hasankeyf and the Tigris Valley would not be flooded.
You can imagine over this mountain will be under flood. And this is life.
A few kilometers away, Muhiddin shows me the nests of birds belonging to the bee-eater family. The Tigris Valley is their breeding ground. Thousands of small nesting holes in the ancient alluvial sand of the riverbanks. If the dam is built, this area will be flooded.
They can't find like this anywhere else. They need it. Yeah, they need something like this to make. And you can see, just here can do it. Nowhere else.
So is there any chance of halting the project? I visit the mayor of Hasankeyf, who has fought the dam project since being elected to office. He tells me the fight has been going on for about 10 years. The foundation for the dam was laid with the help of foreign creditors. But after the people of Hasankeyf showed what was going on here and laid out the truth, the investors pulled out. He says he hopes that everything will come out into the open and that the project is stopped and alternative projects implemented instead that would protect the environment and the area's unique cultural sites. On my way back to the hotel that evening, a man approaches me. He tells me that new houses are to be built for them that would cost them 73,000 Turkish lira. He's been unemployed for 4 months. He'd get some 10,000 lira for his old house, but they want 73,000 for the new ones, which he thinks aren't nearly as nice as what he's got. The longer I think about it, the more absurd this plan seems, for the environment, the cultural sites and for the people.